Your future self is sending you a message. It is urgent. They need you to walk away, not from a person, a job, or a place, but from a frequency. This is not a suggestion. It is a directive from the highest version of you, the one who has already solved the problems you are struggling with now. They are broadcasting a signal through time and space, and that signal has one clear instruction: you must walk away from their frequency. This isn't a metaphor. This is the law of vibrational resonance and quantum decoherence. It is a fundamental rule of the universe that two incompatible frequencies cannot occupy the same quantum state for long without creating chaos, friction, and eventual collapse. Think of it like a radio. You cannot listen to a clear symphony on 101.5 FM if your dial is also stuck trying to receive the static-filled news broadcast from 101.6 FM. The signals interfere. They create noise. One must be turned off for the other to be heard with clarity. Your life is that radio, and your soul is desperate to hear the music. This transmission, this time we have together, is dedicated to decoding the exact message your future self is sending. We will identify the precise frequencies you are being commanded to unlink from, and I will give you a protocol, a scientific, spiritual protocol, to do it with love, with power, and with zero guilt. This isn't about burning bridges or ending relationships in anger. This is an act of quantum physics. It's an act of creation. The physics is profoundly simple. Your attention, your focus, your observation. This is the most powerful creative force in the universe. In the quantum field, infinite possibilities exist as waves of potential. It is the act of your observation that collapses that wave into a particle, into a tangible experience, into what you call your reality. Whatever you consistently place your attention on, you are feeding with the energy that makes it solid. You are voting for it with your consciousness. You are telling the universe, more of this, please. By observing a reality you don't want, by engaging with frequencies that drain you, by participating in conversations and dynamics that belong to your past, you are sustaining them. You are keeping them alive in your field with your own life force. Your future self is waiting. They are waiting for you to stop feeding the past. They are waiting for you to turn your observational power away from the timeline that is dying and toward the timeline that is waiting to be born. If you've ever felt this cosmic pull to evolve, even when it scared you, hit the like button now. It signals you're ready to receive this message. This is why you feel so exhausted. This is the source of that deep, bone-weary fatigue that no amount of sleep can seem to fix. It's the constant, grinding friction of trying to live in two realities at once. It's the immense energetic cost of holding a high vibrational destiny in your heart while your feet are still walking on low vibrational ground. You are attempting to be two people simultaneously, the person you are becoming and the person everyone else expects you to be. This is why you feel so guilty for wanting more. That guilt is a program. It's a ghost in the machine. It's the echo of an old agreement you made to stay small in order to make others feel comfortable. But your soul never signed that contract. And the expansion you are feeling is your soul telling you that the contract is now null and void. This is why you feel like you're betraying people by changing. You feel like a vibrational traitor. You love them, you truly do. But being in their presence, on their frequency, has begun to feel like a subtle form of suffocation. You dread the phone call before you even answer, bracing for the energetic drain. You go to the family gathering and feel yourself shrinking, dimming your own light, carefully editing your good news so it doesn't make anyone feel bad. You sit across from an old friend, someone who holds deep history with you, but you realize they are speaking to a version of you that no longer exists, and you feel invisible. You feel lonely in a room full of people. This pain is real, but it is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is not a symptom of your flaw or your failure or your selfishness. It is the definitive symptom of your impending upgrade. It is the ultimate validation that your future self is calling you forward. To understand this process, let's use a metaphor. Imagine your current reality is one side of a vast, deep canyon. This is the reality defined by your current circumstances, your history, your limitations. Now imagine your future self standing on the far side of that canyon. They are healed, whole, abundant, living in a reality of peace and flow. The vibrational gap between where you are and where they are is the canyon itself. But connecting you both, shimmering in the air, is a bridge a frequency bridge. This bridge is not made of wood or steel. It's made of pure, coherent energy. It's made of your focus, your intention, your belief. It is the path. However, this bridge is exquisitely sensitive to vibration. It is designed to carry the frequency of your future, not the weight of your past. It cannot hold the dense, heavy energy of old obligations, of other people's expectations, of past traumas that you keep replaying, of low-frequency connections that demand you stay the same. To cross this bridge, you must travel light. You must learn to set the baggage down, not with anger, not with resentment, but with the simple, non-negotiable understanding that it cannot come with you. The bridge will not support its weight. Your future will not support its frequency. The process we are beginning today is not about destroying your past. It is about lovingly releasing the parts of your present that have no place in your future. By the end of this hour, you will no longer see walking away as an act of loss or abandonment. You will understand it as the most profound and necessary act of creation you can possibly engage in. It is the sacred act of clearing the land before you build the temple. You will move from feeling guilty and stuck, paralyzed by the fear of disappointing others, to feeling clear, empowered, and ready to walk your bridge. You will become a conscious architect of your reality, choosing which frequencies to amplify and which to allow to fade into silence. The message from your future self is simple. It's time to walk. So many of you ask the same question, in 1,000 different ways. How to align with future self when my present is so chaotic, so demanding, so full of noise? It begins by understanding the physics. It begins by understanding that the universe is not made of things. It's made of vibrations. It's made of frequencies. This is vibrational frequency explained simple. Everything you see, everything you touch, every thought you think, is a pattern of energy and information. It is a frequency. Your body is not a solid object. It is a composite frequency, an orchestra of trillions of cells all vibrating in a specific, coherent pattern that you call you. Your emotions are frequencies. Joy has a high, fast frequency. Guilt has a dense, slow frequency. Your relationships are not just social contracts. They are frequency agreements. You agree to broadcast and receive on a shared channel. For too long, we have treated the spiritual as separate from the scientific. This is a profound error. The laws of energy are the laws of spirit. Imagine a thin metal plate, perfectly flat, covered in a fine layer of sand. It's just a random scattering. Chaos. Now, imagine a bow, like one for a cello, being drawn across the edge of that plate. A single, pure tone is played, a specific frequency. Suddenly, the sand, which was in a state of chaos, leaps into life. It vibrates, it moves, and in seconds, it arranges itself into a stunningly perfect geometric pattern, a mandala of impossible intricacy. This isn't a trick. This is a real phenomenon called cymatics. The sound, the frequency, is organizing matter from chaos into form. The information in the vibration creates the pattern in the physical world. This is the creative power of a coherent frequency. Now, what happens if you play two dissonant notes at the same time? Two frequencies that are not in harmony. The sand doesn't create two patterns. It doesn't negotiate a compromise. It collapses back into chaos. The geometric form is lost. The information becomes scrambled. There is only static, noise, and disorder. Your life is that plate of sand. The pure tone of your future self, the frequency of your highest potential, is always being played. When you align with it, your reality organizes itself into a beautiful, coherent pattern. We call this synchronicity, flow, miracles. But when you simultaneously allow a dissonant frequency into your field, the frequency of an old relationship, a limiting belief, an environment that no longer serves you, you create chaos. This is the friction you feel. This is the exhaustion. This is the confusion. You are trying to hold two incompatible frequencies in your field at once, and your very cells, your very life force, are collapsing into energetic static. The necessary act of choosing one clear tone over the other, of silencing the static so the music can play, is what I call the quantum unlinking. This is not an emotional outburst. It is not a dramatic exit. It is a precise, surgical removal of your conscious observation from a timeline that is no longer a vibrational match for who you are becoming. The quantum unlinking has three defining characteristics. First, it is impersonal. It is about physics. It is not about good people or bad people. It is not about right or wrong. It is about resonant and dissonant frequencies. A foghorn is not bad. A flute is not good. They are simply incompatible if you are trying to create a specific symphony. You are the conductor of your symphony. It is your divine responsibility to choose the instruments. Choosing to remove the foghorn from the flute section is not an act of judgment. It is an act of clarity. Second, it is internal. The quantum unlinking happens inside of you, not outside of you. It is about withdrawing your focus, your observation, your energy. In the quantum world, reality is solidified by the observer. Where you place your attention is where you place your energy, and where you place your energy is what you crystallize into your experience. You can be in the same room with someone and be quantumly unlinked. Their frequency is broadcasting, but your receiver is tuned to a different station. Third, it is creative. Unlinking does not destroy anything. It liberates energy. Every ounce of energy you are currently using to manage a dissonant connection, to fight the static, to hold the chaos together, is energy that is being stolen from the creation of your desired reality. When you perform a quantum unlink, that energy floods back into your system. It becomes available. It becomes the building block for what you want to construct on that frequency bridge to your future self. Feel that for a moment. What person, choti, place, or even past version of yourself represents a frequency you can no longer physically sustain. Name it, silently, to yourself. That is where your greatest source of creative energy is currently trapped. This brings us to the critical point. Why all your previous attempts have failed. You have tried so hard. You have set boundaries. You have had the tough conversations. You have tried to change them, to heal them, to explain yourself to them. And it has only led to more exhaustion and more entanglement. Why? Because all of these are actions taken within the low frequency. You are trying to redecorate a house that is built on a crumbling foundation. You are trying to rearrange the furniture in a building that is seismically unsound. Let's analyze these failed methods. First, setting boundaries. You say, I need you to respect my space. You put up an energetic wall, but you are still in the house. The frequency of the problem is still your primary reality. A boundary is an act of resistance. You are pushing against something. What you resist persists because you are still giving it your observational energy. You are defining yourself by what you are pushing against. It takes an enormous amount of energy to maintain that wall, to constantly be on guard. It is a strategy of defense, not creation. Second, the tough conversations. You sit down to explain your new self, your new beliefs. You are trying to use logic and emotion to convince a dissonant frequency to become resonant. You are trying to explain the sound of a flute to a foghorn. The foghorn has no context for what you are saying. It can only process reality through its own frequency, so your words are misinterpreted. Your growth is seen as a judgment. Your evolution is perceived as an attack. You are pouring your precious life force into a translator that is fundamentally broken, trying to make the static understand the music. The third and most painful failure is trying to change them, trying to fix them, trying to heal them with your love. You see their potential. You believe that if you just shine your light brightly enough, you can raise their frequency to match yours. You become a vibrational missionary, but this is a violation of quantum law. You cannot change their broadcast. You can only change yours. By focusing on them, you are not pulling them up. They are pulling you down. You are tuning your receiver to their station in the hopes they will hear your music. They will not. You will only start hearing their static. All of these methods fail because they are based on the false premise that you need to manage the external world. They keep you entangled. They keep you focused on the problem. They are like trying to convince the heavy baggage on your frequency bridge that it's actually light. You are negotiating with the weight instead of simply dropping it. This requires a completely new paradigm. The shift is from managing the external to mastering the internal. It's not about blocking their number. It's about deleting their frequency from your being. It's not about leaving the room. It's about withdrawing your consciousness from their reality. It's not about winning an argument. It's about making the argument irrelevant by no longer broadcasting on its channel. It's not about building higher walls. It's about dissolving the part of you that is a vibrational match to the attack in the first place. This is where your true power lies. This is the path to freedom. We have been taught a lie so profound, so deeply embedded in our cultural and social programming that it generates almost all of our guilt, our hesitation, and our pain when it comes to personal evolution. The lie is this: to grow, you must walk away from people. This is what tears us apart. The thought of abandoning a parent, a friend, a partner, even when the connection is draining the life force from our bodies, we see it as an act of betrayal. We imagine their pain, their confusion, their anger, and so we stay. We stay in conversations that deplete us, in family dynamics that shrink us, in friendships that anchor us to a past we no longer recognize. We martyr ourselves on the altar of loyalty, all while our future self is screaming for us to turn around and walk the other way. But what if the entire premise is wrong? What if the guilt is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of reality? Here is the revelation that will unlock your freedom. This is the paradigm shift that dismantles the entire prison of guilt. You don't walk away from them. You walk away from the version of you that resonates with them. Read that again, let it land. The person you are leaving behind is yourself, the old self, the self that needed that specific frequency of relationship to feel safe, to learn a lesson, to play out a karmic pattern. The version of you that was a vibrational match to their doubt, their limitation, their drama. That is the only person you are leaving, and in doing so, you are not committing an act of abandonment. You are committing the ultimate act of self-rescue. This changes everything, because if the person you are unlinking from is a past version of yourself, then suddenly all the power returns to you. It means the entire process is internal. It's no longer about them and what they might do or how they might feel. You are not waiting for them to change, to understand, to give you permission. You are no longer a victim of their energy, hoping they'll one day stop broadcasting a frequency that hurts you. You are the one in control of the receiver. The entire equation shifts from one of external negotiation to one of internal mastery. The power to create your new reality was never in their hands. It has always been within you. This also means you can do this without a single confrontation. Think of the energy you've wasted, planning the difficult conversations, rehearsing the speeches in your mind, agonizing over how to set a boundary without causing a fight. It's all been a misapplication of your creative force. When you perform a quantum unlinking, it is a silent, internal, invisible process. You are not cutting cords in an act of energetic violence. You are simply dissolving the resonant anchor within your own being. When that anchor is gone, there is nothing for their rope to attach to. Have you ever noticed how some friendships don't end with a bang, but with a slow, quiet fade? You just stop thinking of them. They stop calling you, and months later you realize you haven't spoken. That wasn't an accident. That was an unconscious quantum unlinking. We are here to learn how to do it consciously. The drama, the arguments, the need for closure, these are all hallmarks of the old frequency. The new paradigm is effortless. It is silent. It is peaceful. Most importantly, this means the guilt is a lie. It is a phantom. It is a ghost program running in your system, designed to keep you locked into a predictable, energetic loop. It's a biological and spiritual failsafe to prevent the tribe from changing too quickly. But your soul is not interested in the tribe's comfort anymore. It is interested in its own evolution. The guilt you feel is not a sacred signal that you must stay. It is the rattling of the cage door just before you finally push it open. What if the guilt you feel isn't a sign to stay, but the final energetic chain you're being asked to dissolve? What would you do if you knew it was just a program? You are not abandoning them. You are choosing to stop abandoning yourself. The unbearable pain you feel is the agony of self-betrayal, of showing up in rooms and conversations as a ghost of who you truly are. You are choosing to fully inhabit your own being. This is the core of letting go of low-vibration people. You don't push them away. You simply stop being the energetic soil where their low vibration can take root. And because this is all based on physics, on the law of resonance, it means that once your energetic hook is removed, the physical reality will rearrange itself, often in miraculous ways. The friend who demanded all your time might suddenly get a new job and move across the country. The family member who criticized your dreams might become so absorbed in their own new hobby, they have no time to focus on you. The universe is not chaotic. It is ruthlessly efficient. When you truly, deeply, and irrevocably change your frequency, everything and everyone that is not a match must fall away. They will drift out of your orbit as naturally as a ship leaving a port. You don't have to force them out. You just have to become the port they are no longer destined for. This is the shift in approach. The old way was aggressive. It was about cutting, blocking, and defending. It was about building walls. This kept you in a state of battle, focused on what you didn't want. You were still observing the old reality, just from a defensive posture. The new way is an act of supreme self-love. It is not about cutting cords. It is about dissolving the resonant anchor within you. It is about turning your attention, your focus, your powerful observational energy away from their frequency and turning it so completely, so passionately, towards the frequency of your future self that the old one simply starves. It demanifests. It fades from your reality like a dream upon waking, because the consciousness that sustained it is no longer present. You don't fight the static on a radio. You simply change the station. And this leads to the final, most powerful transformation, the transformation of identity. For years, you have likely operated as an energetic sponge. You walked into a room and soaked up the moods of others. Your sense of well-being was contingent on the happiness of those around you. You were a victim of energetic circumstance. That identity is now obsolete. From this moment forward, you are to understand that you are not a sponge. You are a broadcast tower. You are a sovereign being, radiating a specific frequency into the quantum field, and you get to choose what that frequency is. Every choice, every thought, every feeling is calibrating your broadcast. The problem was never that you were absorbing their energy. The problem was that you were broadcasting a signal that invited their interference. You were tuned to a station of obligation, of people-pleasing, of needing external validation. It is time to change the broadcast. You are not leaving them behind. You are calling yourself forward. You are not walking away from them. You are walking toward the highest, most authentic, most powerful version of yourself. And you are trusting that in doing so, you give everyone else the permission to do the same. This is not selfish. It is the most generous act you can perform for the collective. You are one less person dimming their light, and one more lighthouse showing what is possible. Your system is already telling you where the quantum unlinking is needed. It's speaking to you every single moment of every single day. But you have been taught to interpret its messages as your own personal failures, as problems to be solved, as signs that you are a bad person, a difficult person, an ungrateful person. Today, that interpretation ends. These are not problems. They are divine signals. They are quantum breadcrumbs left by your future self, illuminating the precise path you must walk to reach them. These feelings you've been trying to suppress are, in fact, the most accurate guidance system you possess. Here are 3 signs you have been misinterpreting. 3 quantum signals telling you exactly where an unlinking is not just suggested, but required for your evolution. The first signal is sudden irritation and intolerance. You know this feeling. It's that person, or that topic of conversation, or that environment that you used to be able to tolerate. You could handle it. It wasn't your favorite, but you could manage. But now, something has shifted. Now, when that person starts their story, or when that family member brings up the same old complaint, it's no longer a minor annoyance. It's physically unbearable. It feels like nails on a chalkboard inside your very cells. It's a grating, dissonant noise that your entire nervous system screams to get away from. You find yourself becoming short, impatient, judgmental, and then you feel immense guilt for it. What is wrong with me, you ask? Why am I so intolerant all of a sudden? You are not becoming a bad person. You are becoming vibrationally allergic. This isn't a psychological issue, it's a physical one. Your energy field, as it calibrates to the higher frequency of your future self, is becoming more refined. It can no longer process, metabolize, or find resonance with certain dense, chaotic frequencies. It's like a finely tuned instrument suddenly being blasted with static. It physically recoils. Consider a client of mine. Let's call her Maria. For years, she had a weekly coffee with a dear friend who had a habit of complaining about her job, her relationship, her life. For years, Maria played the role of the supportive friend, nodding, offering advice. It was part of their dynamic, but over the last 6 months, something changed. When her friend would start a complaint, Maria would feel a hot flush of irritation rise up in her chest. Her jaw would clench. She felt a desperate, almost primal urge to scream, "Stop!" Her old interpretation was steeped in guilt. "I'm a terrible friend. She's in pain, and all I can feel is annoyance. I should be more compassionate." But the new interpretation, the quantum interpretation, is this. Maria's nervous system was giving her an undeniable signal. It was saying, this frequency of victimhood and complaint is no longer compatible with the reality we are building. We can no longer offer ourselves as a resonant chamber for this story. To listen is to agree with it on an energetic level, and we no longer agree. The unlinking is required. Her irritation wasn't a judgment of her friend. It was a boundary set by her own evolving soul. It was a quantum signal, clear as a bell, indicating a dissonant frequency. It was her future self saying, "That conversation is an anchor to the past. Let it go." The second sign, and this one is profoundly physical, D, is unexplained exhaustion. You have a perfectly good day. You wake up, you feel clear, maybe even energized. You work on a project you love. You feel the flow of inspiration. Your energy is high. Your mind is sharp. Then you get a text message, or you take a 5-minute phone call, or you have a brief interaction with a certain coworker or family member, and suddenly your battery is at zero. It's not just tiredness, it's a deep cellular depletion, a hollowing out. It feels as if your very life force has been siphoned out of you. You go from feeling capable and bright to feeling like you need to lie down for 3 days. You try to reason it away. It was just a short conversation. Why am I so exhausted? Maybe I'm not sleeping enough. Maybe something is wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with you. You have just paid an enormous energetic tax. This is the hidden cost of maintaining a quantum entanglement with a timeline you have vibrationally outgrown. When you interact with a person or system operating at a much lower, denser frequency than your own, your energy field must perform an incredible feat to maintain the connection. It must downshift. It must lower its own vibration significantly to meet theirs, just to make the interaction possible. This process of downshifting burns an immense amount of your vital energy. It's the equivalent of running a high-performance engine on low-grade fuel. It sputters, it struggles, and it causes wear and tear on the entire system. Your exhaustion is the invoice. It is the energetic bill for trying to be in 2 places at once, your ascending reality and their static one. In the comments, share which of these 3 signs you've been misinterpreting as a problem. Let's create a space where we validate these quantum signals for each other. Think of a man named David. He's building a new business, full of passion and vision. He spends his morning mapping out incredible new possibilities. He feels like he's on top of the world. Then, his father calls. His father, a man he loves, is perpetually worried. He asks David the same anxious questions about stability, security, and risk. The call lasts 7 minutes. David hangs up, and the vibrant color of his day has turned to gray. The passion is gone, replaced by a leaden weight of doubt and fatigue. His old interpretation, "I love my dad, but talking to him is so draining. I feel guilty for feeling this way. I should be able to handle it." The quantum interpretation, David's system calibrated to the frequency of possibility and creation, was forced to entangle with a frequency of fear and limitation. The 7-minute call required a massive expenditure of energy to bridge that vibrational gap. The exhaustion was not a psychological reaction. It was the physical aftermath of an energetic collision. It was his body screaming, "We cannot afford to keep paying this tax. The cost of this connection is bankrupting our future." It is a signal, and it demands a quantum unlinking. The third signal is the most subtle, and perhaps the one that causes the most misplaced grief. It is the accidental drifting apart. This is the friendship that doesn't end with a bang, but with a slow, silent fizzle. This is the social circle you just don't hear from anymore. Plans get made and then coincidentally get cancelled. Texts go unanswered, not out of malice, but seemingly out of simple forgetfulness. There's no fight, no drama, no big falling out. There is just space, a growing silence. We are conditioned to interpret this as loss, as rejection. We think, what did I do wrong? Why don't they call me anymore? We used to be so close. We mourn the connection, believing it is something we have lost through our own failure or their neglect. The truth is far more elegant and far more profound. This is the universe gracefully creating the vacuum that your future self requires. When the vibrational gap between you and another person becomes too wide, the energetic bridge that connects you simply can't sustain itself anymore. It dissolves. The shared reality that held you together no longer has enough observational energy from both sides to remain solid. The constant cancellations and missed connections are not accidents. They are physics. They are the physical manifestation of a quantum decoherence. You are no longer in the same probable reality, so the universe has to work overtime to even make an interaction happen, and eventually, it simply stops trying. Think of two women, longtime best friends, who find themselves drifting. One is on a deep spiritual path, meditating, changing her diet, consuming new information. The other is in the same patterns she's been in for a decade, finding comfort in the familiar. They still love each other, but when they try to connect, the conversations feel strained. There's less and less to talk about. The easy resonance is gone. Soon, a month goes by without a word. Then two. The old interpretation is one of sadness and loss. We just grew apart. The quantum interpretation is one of reverence for a process completed. It is the graceful, non-violent unlinking orchestrated by a higher intelligence. It is the universe saying, this connection served its purpose for a previous version of you. That contract is complete. We are now clearing the space for the connections that resonate with who you are now. It is not a death, it is a graduation. Do you see, these are not punishments. They are not problems. They are a GPS from your soul. See them for what they are. Irritation means wrong way. It's a vibrational rumble strip telling you to get back in your own lane. Exhaustion means detour ahead. Your system is telling you it doesn't have enough fuel to go down that road anymore. Drifting means new route calculated. The old destination is no longer on your map. Your only job is to notice and obey the navigation, to stop overriding the signals with guilt and obligation. The next time you feel one of these signs, the sudden irritation, the depletion of your energy, the strange silence in a relationship, stop. Do not judge yourself. Do not try to fix the other person. Simply ask your inner being this one question. What frequency is my system rejecting right now? Just asking the question changes everything. It moves you from victim to observer, from a participant in the drama to a scientist of your own energy. This is the first step in becoming a quantum architect of your reality. You are learning to read the energetic blueprints. You are learning to see the world not as solid and fixed, but as a fluid dance of frequency. And you are finally learning to listen to the clearest voice of all, the one that is calling you home. You understand the theory. You see the signs in your own life. Now, we move beyond the mind. We move beyond logic and into the quantum field of your own being. For this is the only place where true change occurs. The quantum unlinking is not a thought experiment. It is a physical, energetic event, and we will perform it now. Find a space where you can be undisturbed for the next several minutes. Sit comfortably, with your spine straight. Close your eyes. This is not a meditation to escape. This is an act of sovereign creation. Let's begin. Take a deep, slow breath in, and as you exhale, release the day. Release the noise. Release the need to understand what comes next. Simply be here, in this moment, present to the universe that exists within you. I want you to first feel your current state. Without judgment, without resistance, simply notice the frequency you have been operating from. Feel the subtle hum of obligation in your nervous system. Sense the weight of expectations in your shoulders. Notice the low-grade static of exhaustion behind your eyes. This is the friction. This is the energetic signature of living between two realities. Acknowledge it. Thank it for the information it has given you. It has served its purpose. It has led you here. Now I want you to invite a new frequency into your awareness. Call forward the energy of your future self, the version of you who has already arrived, the one who is whole, free, and living in the timeline you desire. Do not try to see them. Feel them. What is the emotional texture of their success? Is it smooth like glass, or vibrant and electric? What is the temperature of their peace? Is it a cool, calming presence, or a warm, radiant glow that emanates from their heart? What is the sound of their joy? Is it a silent, expansive hum, or a clear, resonant bell tone? Allow this frequency to just be near you, a subtle broadcast from another station. Notice the contrast between this and the static you felt before. Here is the friction, and here is the clarity. Now, we are going to amplify that clarity. Imagine an inner tuning fork at the very core of your being. For so long, it has been vibrating at the frequency of your past, of your obligations, of other people's realities. But its true, natural resonance is the frequency of your future self. We are now going to strike that tuning fork. Bring all of your awareness, all of your focus, onto the feeling of your future self. Turn up the volume on that broadcast. Let it move from being something you are sensing to something you are becoming. Feel it begin as a gentle vibration in the center of your chest. A low, powerful hum. This is your true resonant frequency. This is home. Let that hum expand. Let it travel down your spine, illuminating every vertebra. Let it spread into your shoulders, dissolving the weight that was once there. Let it flow down your arms and into your hands, filling them with the power to create. Let it move down into your legs, grounding you in the certainty of your new reality. Let this frequency warm your skin from the inside out. Let it fill the space behind your eyes with a soft, golden light. Every cell in your body is now beginning to remember this vibration. It is awakening to its original blueprint. This isn't a new frequency you are adopting. It is the frequency you are remembering. It is you. Feel it becoming the dominant reality in your awareness. The old static fades. The noise of obligation recedes. There is only this clear, pure, resonant hum of your authentic self. You are no longer just listening to the broadcast. You are the broadcast tower. This is your power. This is your sovereign state. Stay here. Breathe in this frequency. Know it as your truth. From this high, clear, powerful state of being, I want you to gently bring to mind a person, a situation, or a pattern that you know it is time to unlink from. Do not drop down into the old energy. Stay elevated. Observe it from this new vantage point. See it not as an emotional entanglement, but as a film playing on a distant screen. See the old version of you in that film, playing your part, entangled in the drama. Watch it with compassion, with neutrality. There is no anger here. There is no blame. There is only clarity. You are the observer now. You are no longer in the movie. From this state of loving detachment, from this broadcast tower of your true frequency, silently and powerfully repeat these words in your mind. I release the version of me that needed this connection. I release it with love, for the lessons it taught me. I am no longer a vibrational match. Feel the truth of those words. This is not a rejection of them. It is an acceptance of you. Repeat it again, letting the vibration of the words dissolve the old energetic ties. I release the version of me that needed this connection. I release it with love. I am no longer a vibrational match. Now feel what happens. Feel the subtle shift, a lightness in your energy field, a release of tension in your gut, in your jaw, in your chest. The cords are not cut with violence. They simply dissolve in the presence of this higher frequency, like fog burning off in the morning sun. Feel the vast amounts of energy that were being used to sustain that old connection, to downshift your frequency, to maintain that quantum entanglement. Feel that energy flooding back into your own being right now. It is yours again. It is returning home. This is the energy you will use to build your new world. It is the fuel for your creation. Take a deep breath and receive it. You are whole. You are free. The unlinking is done. Gently, begin to bring your awareness back to the room. Feel the surface beneath you. Hear the sounds around you. When you are ready, you can slowly open your eyes. Notice the new silence. The new space within you. That space is not emptiness, it is potential. As you return to this moment, what one word describes the feeling of your future self's frequency? Let that word be your new anchor. That was not just a meditation. That was an act of quantum creation. You did not just relax for a few minutes. You accessed the operational control panel of your reality and performed a targeted energetic recalibration. This is the work. This is the shift from being a passive passenger in your life to becoming its conscious designer. You are now operating as a quantum architect, and every architect needs their tools. These are not abstract concepts. These are practical, powerful instruments to ensure that the unlinking you just performed becomes a permanent feature of your new reality, not a temporary state of peace. Let us put them in your hands now. Your first tool is your new foundation. It's called the frequency audit. This is a weekly check-in, a non-negotiable appointment with yourself to identify dissonant frequencies before they can grow roots in your energy field. The core principle here is one of the most fundamental in all of quantum mechanics. Conscious observation collapses the wave of potentiality into a single reality. What you pay attention to becomes real. For too long, you have allowed low-frequency entanglements to form unconsciously, in the dark. The frequency audit brings the light of your awareness to bear on your energetic landscape. By consciously observing your energy, you prevent the unconscious attachments that drain your life force. You stop the leaks before they become floods. Here is how you perform it. It is simple, surgical, and takes no more than 10 minutes. Every Sunday evening, or whatever day marks the end of your week, you will sit with a journal. You will create 2 columns. At the top of the first column, you will write energized. At the top of the second, you will write drained. Under the energized column, you will list the top 3 people, conversations, activities, or even thoughts from the past week that made you feel expansive, alive, and more like your future self. Maybe it was a 5-minute conversation with an inspiring friend. Maybe it was the hour you spent reading a book that lit up your mind. Maybe it was a moment of silence in nature. Be specific. Then, under the drained column, you will list the top 3 interactions, obligations, or environments that made you feel contracted, exhausted, and heavy. The phone call you dreaded, the meeting that felt pointless, the old memory that surfaced and pulled you down. Now, here is the most critical part of the entire process, and the most common mistake people make. Your job is not to fix the drained list. Read that again. You are not to strategize about how to make that draining person less draining. You are not to plan a tough conversation. The moment you do that, you are pouring your precious observational energy right back into the very frequency you are trying to unlink from. The audit is not a to-do list. It is a data report. The action is the noticing itself. By simply writing it down, you are telling your subconscious mind and the quantum field, I see this. This is a dissonant frequency. I no longer consent to this entanglement. That conscious, neutral observation is the most powerful action you can take. It starves the connection of the unconscious energy it needs to survive. 10 minutes every Sunday. This is the foundational practice of the quantum architect. It is how you keep your new reality clean. Your second tool is for use in the field. It's for the moments when you are ambushed by a low frequency. It's called the 3-second unlink. This is your in-the-moment instrument for when you're caught in a conversation, a meeting, or a family gathering, and you can feel your energy starting to plummet. You feel the downward pull, the familiar weight of obligation, or the static of another's negativity. The principle here is simple. You cannot control their broadcast, but you always control your receiver. This tool instantly pulls your focus from their external broadcast back to your internal sovereign frequency. It takes 3 seconds and is completely invisible to anyone around you. Step 1. Feel your feet on the ground. Literally bring your awareness to the soles of your feet touching the floor. This immediately pulls your energy out of your head and into your body, grounding you in your own physical reality. Step 2. Recall the anchor word for your future self's frequency. From the meditation we just did, you identified a word that described that feeling of home, of alignment. It might be clarity, freedom, peace, power. Silently bring that word into your mind. Feel the resonance of it, just for a millisecond. Step 3. Internally, silently, state the declaration. I am not a vibrational match to this. That's it. No anger, no judgment. It is a simple statement of quantum fact. You are declaring your energetic sovereignty, feet word declaration, 3 seconds. The common mistake here is to visibly disengage, to get quiet, cross your arms, or show your displeasure. That is an act of ego, not an act of power. This is a completely internal energy shift. On the outside, you can still be nodding, listening, and present, but on the inside, you have pulled your energetic hook. You have stopped your system from downshifting to match their frequency. You are no longer an energetic participant, you are a neutral observer. You can use this during a phone call with a complaining family member, in a meeting with a toxic colleague, or while listening to an old friend rehash the same story of lack for the 100th time. It is your emergency shield. It keeps your frequency intact. What is the very first conversation or situation you will now approach not from obligation, but from the standpoint of pure frequency alignment? Now for the third and most delicate tool. This is for the big entanglements, the ones wrapped in years of history, love and guilt. This is for unlinking from family members, long-term partners, or lifelong friends without creating a war and without being consumed by guilt. This tool is called the gratitude dissolve. The principle is profound. Gratitude is one of the highest, most coherent frequencies a human being can generate. Obligation, guilt, resentment, these are chaotic, low-frequency states. The two cannot coexist in the same space. When you genuinely introduce the high frequency of gratitude, it doesn't fight the lower frequency. It dissolves it. It reorganizes the chaotic pattern into a coherent one, effectively neutralizing the energetic charge that has kept you bound. Here is how it works. This is another private written exercise. Take a person or relationship from which you feel you must unlink. Sit down and write down everything that version of the relationship did give you. Go back in time. What lessons did you learn? What support did they provide at a time when you desperately needed it? What moments of joy did you share? You must find something real. Acknowledge the role they played in your journey, even if that role was to show you what you no longer wanted. Feel genuine, sincere gratitude for that past version of the connection. Thank it for its service on your path. Then, at the bottom of the page, you will write this sentence, or one like it. I am deeply grateful for what was, for the gifts this connection provided, and for the lessons it taught me. And with that same love and gratitude, I now release this version of our connection to make space for what is to come for both of us. The most common mistake is faking the gratitude. Your soul knows when you're lying. You cannot do this from a place of anger or resentment and expect it to work. You have to dig until you find the gold, the genuine pearl of appreciation for the role it played in your story. When you can truly thank the past, it no longer has power over your present. This isn't about ending the relationship in the physical world necessarily. It's about ending the energetic contract of obligation and guilt. Once that contract is dissolved, the relationship will either transform into a new one based on a higher frequency, or it will gently and peacefully drift away without drama. These are your tools: the frequency audit, the 3-second unlink, and the gratitude dissolve. But tools are useless without a new architectural plan. Your life is now a practice of frequency alignment. This is your integration framework. Your old to-do list is now secondary to your new to-be list. Before you take any action, before you make any phone call, before you say yes to any request, you will ask yourself one single, powerful question. This question is your new compass, your new North Star, your new operating system. Does this align with the frequency of my future self? If the answer is a clear, resonant yes, proceed with power. If the answer is no, or even a hesitant maybe, the action is irrelevant. To take an action that is not in alignment is to actively build a reality you do not want. To pause, to not act, when the frequency is wrong, is a more powerful creative act than forcing 1,000 misaligned actions. You are a quantum architect now. You select your energetic blueprints with care, and you only engage in construction that matches the grand design of your highest potential. This is how you build your new world. You have received the message from your future self. You have listened. You have moved beyond the intellectual understanding, beyond the recognition of the signs, and you have performed the unlinking in the quantum field of your own being. The tools you now possess are not just techniques. They are extensions of your newfound sovereignty. You have reclaimed your creative power. The energy that was once scattered, invested in maintaining connections to realities that were not yours, has now returned home. It is flooding back into your system, a reservoir of pure potential waiting for a directive. You have successfully cleared the land. You have done the difficult, courageous work of removing the weeds, the old foundations, the debris of past timelines. You are standing on sacred, empty ground. But unlinking from the old reality is only half of the equation. It is the vital, non-negotiable first act of creation, but it is not the final act. You have created a void, a clean slate, a field of pure potential. This void is a vacuum that nature demands to fill. It is a law of the cosmos. An energetic space cannot remain empty for long. The question is, will you fill it consciously, with the blueprint of your future self? Or will you allow the ambient noise of the collective, the gravitational pull of old habits, the echoes of the frequencies you just worked so hard to release, to seep back in by default? This is the most critical juncture in your transformation. This is where true mastery begins, because once you have successfully unlinked, you enter a powerful but delicate state of being, a state known to quantum physicists and ancient mystics alike. It is a state I call the quantum void. This is not an emptiness to be feared. It is the womb of creation. It is the silent, fertile darkness from which all new realities are born. The quantum void is the most potent creative state a human can experience. It is a superpositional space where you are no longer bound by the inertia of your past, and the reality of your future has not yet solidified. In this state, you can collapse timelines and manifest at lightning speed. Your every thought, every feeling, every subtle intention acts like a powerful magnet, pulling raw energy into form, but it must be navigated with precision. Misunderstanding, this phase is the single greatest reason why most people who have a spiritual awakening, who make a massive life change, eventually snap back to their old reality. They do the hard work of clearing the space, but they don't know how to consciously build within the void. They leave the new territory unguarded, and the old patterns, like stubborn vines, creep back in and reclaim the land. They mistake the silence for absence, the emptiness for loss, and in that moment of doubt, they inadvertently send out a signal, a resonant frequency that invites the old reality to return. That is a mistake you will not make. That's why our next transmission is not just important, it is critical. It is the second half of the directive from your future self. It's called the Quantum Void Explained. How to use emptiness to build your new reality. We will not just talk about it, we will enter it. We will explore the physics of this state, and I will give you a precise protocol for conscious creation within it, so that you become the sole architect of what fills that sacred space. Subscribe and activate all notifications, because this unlinking is just step one. In our next video, the Quantum Void Explained, how to use emptiness to build your new reality. We build the new reality, and you need to be here for that. From there, we will learn how to read the language of the universe in this new state. We will discover why synchronicity is simpler than you think, it's pure physics, and how to transform your life from a series of random events into a constant, flowing dialogue with the quantum field. You came here feeling stuck, trapped, and riddled with a guilt you could not name. You were trying to live on a bridge between two worlds, and the tension was tearing you apart. You leave here today as a quantum architect. You leave here holding the energetic blueprints to a reality of your own choosing. The message from your future self has been delivered, and it has been received. You are clear, you are powerful, you are free. Now go. Walk away from the frequencies that are not you. Your future is waiting for you to arrive.